Welcome to Peaches and Cream, y'all. Today we're going to be making soft cinnamon buns. I love this recipe. It's so easy, no kneading at all, and they are the most delightful, fluffy cinnamon buns. We're going to start out by dissolving 1 tablespoon of yeast in 1/3 of a cup of warm water. That's 75 milliliters. And we're going to add a half a teaspoon of sugar as well to help activate that yeast. In a large bowl, we're going to mix together 6 tablespoons of melted butter, that's 85 grams, 2 tablespoons of oil, 2/3 of a cup of white sugar, that's 134 grams, and we're just going to mix this up until it's nice and smooth. Going to add 2 large eggs. We're going to add one at a time and just mix it really well between each addition. Alright, we're going to add 1 cup of whole milk, that's 250 milliliters. You want to make sure that your milk is room temperature, not cold straight from the fridge, because that will really slow down the yeast activation as the dough is rising. Alright, we're going to mix our dry ingredients. That'll be 4 cups of all-purpose flour or bread flour, that's 520 grams, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Alright, the flour mixture goes straight into the milk and butter mixture as well as the yeast. We're going to get this mixed up really good. You want to make sure that there are no lumps and that it's completely smooth. It will be very sticky, but that's exactly as it should be. I'm going to grease the top just to make sure that it doesn't dry out. We're going to cover it lightly and let it rise for 1.5 to 2 hours. It is a slow rising dough because we are not kneading it, and so the gluten development is pretty much going to be solely from rising. For the filling, we're going to mix together 2 cups of brown sugar, that's 520 grams, a half cup of melted butter, that's 113 grams, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. After we mix that, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of ground cinnamon and mix well. After the dough has risen for about 2 hours, it should be nice and puffy. And we're just going to gather the dough together. Make sure and flour your hands because it's really sticky. And we're just going to roll it out on the countertop. I like to fold the dough over itself a few times just to work it together so it's not so shaggy, but you definitely don't want to knead this. You just want to gather it together. Alright, I have rolled this to about 12 by 16 inches, I think, about. It's not important, the exact measurements, but you do want it to be quite thin. I'm just going to put dollops of the filling all over the dough, and we're going to spread it out evenly. Alright, and I will start rolling from the side closest to me. Just make sure and roll it pretty tightly. You do not want this falling apart. It's such a soft dough that it's very easy for it to be rolled loosely, and then when you slice it and try to put it into the pan, it just doesn't hold its shape. Once you've completely rolled it up and pinched together the seam, just make sure there's plenty of flour underneath it so it doesn't start sticking, and we are going to slice this into cinnamon rolls. I'm going to prepare a 9 by 13 inch pan with baking spray. You should get about 12 to 14 cinnamon rolls out of this log. Just make sure when you're placing them in the pan, give them a little space between each roll to give them room to rise. All right, we're just going to cover the cinnamon rolls loosely in plastic wrap to make sure they don't dry out while they're rising, and we're going to let them rise for about 30 to 40 minutes. We're going to bake these in a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 to 30 minutes. I've melted some butter, and I'm just going to brush each cinnamon roll generously with the butter. This is optional, but it makes such a difference in flavor, and it just keeps the cinnamon rolls really soft as well. Let these sit for about 10 minutes before you serve them. Make sure to serve them warm though. There is nothing better than a warm cinnamon roll. I hope y'all enjoyed this recipe. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more recipes like this. Thanks for watching.